Tonight, one city, two sides, uproar in Port Augusta after locals question why more resources are being poured into the east, and a former government minister to spearhead the Liberals in opposition.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening. Port Augusta West residents are fed up with the alleged skewing of funds towards facilities on the east of the city. The West Side now asking council why their counterpart across the port has over 3 kilometres of sealed running path while they have less than 200 metres.
Is Port Augusta West being thrown to the side? A question mark has been placed on the city's allocation of funds for projects on the east side being significantly more than on the west.
Since the abolishment of the ward-based councillors, the east side just gets let go. The east side's got 3 kilometres of sealed path on the foreshore. We've got 200 metres. I mean, how do you justify that?
The City Council's recent works on the shared path along the back beach of Levine Bank, dramatically increasing the total sealed footpath area on the east side. The west side, in comparison, only has 200 metres of sealed running track, 6% of what the east side has.
I've received a number of emails in relation to that query and that question. We'll work towards what we can do and how we can do it within the budget we have.
West Side residents saying that children's playgrounds, the foreshore and fishing facilities on their side are also inferior to the east.
We'd like to see a whole of town approach because it's not just the CBD. The east side foreshore is going through about 3 or 4 different revamps, and some of these places over here hasn't even been touched.
The council says they are always looking to improve facilities available to the community without impacting on ratepayers.
We'd love to have scenic footpaths and trails all the way across Port Augusta to ensure all our tourism people can use it and our local community can feel comfortable using it. And we'll work towards that.
There is a real discrepancy. People are seeing that and they've really got to justify it. They say they need a few votes and that to get it up, but that's up for those councils to justify that.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The South Australian Liberal Party have voted for a new leader to spearhead the shadow cabinet. Former Environment Minister David Speers has been elected as the new opposition leader, with John Gardner voted in as his deputy. Mr Speers was one of the youngest ministers to have a portfolio in Stephen Marshall's cabinet, and in a statement, the new opposition leader thanked Mr Marshall for his service and says he's looking forward to serving the state. Whyala's Mayor Claire McLaughlin has been named this year's recipient of the Joy Baluch Award at the 2022 Local Government Association's Best Practice Dinner. The award recognising the contribution of women across South Australia serving as elected officials.
Recognising her contribution as the civic leader of the Steel City, Mayor Claire McLaughlin awarded as this year's recipient of the 2022 Joy Baluch Award at the annual Best Practice Showcase dinner.
It was a really big honour, and it's very humbling to be acknowledged by the Baluch family and also by the LGA for work that I've undertaken in the last 12 months.
The award recognising and honouring the contribution of women serving as elected members right across South Australia. The Local Government Association noting Mayor McLaughlin's support during the refinancing of the steelworks and her work in many projects such as the airport redevelopment and the Foreshore Master Plan. The Mayor thankful for being named as the recipient of the prestigious award.
What I was recognised for was the last 12 months' work that I have contributed towards the city of Whyalla and dealing with challenges within our city.
Miss McLaughlin now turning her eyes on securing more funding for the city, calling for whichever party that is elected in next month's federal election to negotiate a regional city deal supporting the infrastructure needs of the city.
What we are asking is financial support from the federal government and the state government in conjunction with council to significantly improve the amenities within our city.
Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, the Spencer Gulf goes mask-free for the first time in 8 months, and why these benches along the Port Lincoln foreshore are more than just a place to stop and rest. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Gulf News. With Easter break over for another year, residents across the Spencer Gulf would have noticed it was a lot easier to eat chocolate without wearing a mask. The state government's scrapping the mandate to match other states, but many in the community feel it's still too soon to ditch their face coverings altogether.
The community's slow return to old ways. After 251 days of cautiously upholding mask mandates, this long weekend was the first real opportunity for South Australians to leave home without a face covering. The Premier axing the regulations just in time for Good Friday.
Bring us in line with the practice that we see in most other states around the country, and that's something I think provides a lot of relief to people.
It's a step forward, and I'm sure there's a lot of people will be relieved from that occurring. It has been a little bit confusing. Sometimes you can stand up and buy a beer and wear a mask, and then you can sit down and drink your beer without a mask.
Masks are still compulsory in high-risk settings including hospitals, aged care facilities and public transport. But this past weekend they weren't required at supermarkets, cafes, pubs or Easter celebrations.
So I suppose it's been frustrating for some people, but look, we've got through it pretty well.
Port Augusta currently has 284 active cases of COVID-19. Despite the city's high rate of transient communities passing through, its neighbours to the south appear to be the worst hit in the region. Whyall's case numbers continuing to rise, currently sitting at 539. Port Pirie has 312 active cases and Port Lincoln has 117. With numbers expected to continue climbing, it's no wonder some are still choosing to mask up.
I encourage people, if you still feel comfortable wearing a mask, you wear a mask. I mean, just because there's not a rule there doesn't mean you don't have to wear a mask. If you don't want to wear it, well, you're fortunate, you can take it off.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A safe reflection space has opened at the Port Lincoln foreshore, where locals and visitors can stop and think. Created by a suicide prevention group, the art installation doubles as a rest spot and encourages people to reflect on their loved ones.
A reflection space with an important message. Located on Port Lincoln's foreshore, these public seats are more than just a place to rest. They're helping spread awareness around mental health and suicide.
This is a space for people to come and reflect. It was created by the Suicide Prevention Group and it's aimed to be a space where people can come and think about their loved ones and, feel at peace.
The space is made up of 3 benches, along with mosaic artworks created by artist Karen Carr. This project dating back almost 5 years, with members of the community given the chance to contribute.
It's been a long project. It started off in 2017, but over that time it's been lots of conversations, developing the design and also workshops. So there were community workshops, 7 of them.
Suicide prevention, the key focus of the space. Lane says that the message is more prominent than ever.
Some people don't believe that suicide is still happening. They think it's kind of like an old school concept. And so we're able to open up those conversations that actually it's still something that's quite prevalent.
The space had the backing from Wellbeing SA, the Eyre Peninsula Community Foundation and the Port Lincoln Council. Lane encouraging those who are seeking help to make contact.
If people are seeking help, they can contact us. Our Facebook page is something that's open all the time, but if you are looking for support, you can contact us there.
If you or anyone you know is struggling with mental health, you can reach out to Beyond Blue's helpline on 1300 224636 or Lifeline on 13114. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. Meet the Port Lincoln gymnasts preparing for nationals. And as Broken Hills Heritage Fest wraps up for another year, we'll have all the highlights from the Silver City's much-loved 4-day event. Welcome back. Police in Port Pirie are seeking public assistance to find a missing 15-year-old boy. Drew Schultz was last seen in town at about 8:30 on Thursday, April 14. Police say they are concerned for his welfare. He was last seen wearing a polo shirt, black track pants, Nike sneakers and carrying a backpack. He's also described as 178 centimetres tall with a slim build. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. Port Lincoln's Gymnastics Club is on the up, awarded its 5th Medium Club of the Year accolade. One of the club's athletes is also going particularly well. She's in the final weeks of training before heading to the national stage.
A young gymnast leaping her way into the state team. Missy White and her coach Meryl Davison have been preparing hard for next month's national championships.
Yeah, well, Missy's just had a week off after qualifying for the South Australian team to compete on the Gold Coast at national championships next month.
The 17-year-old has been selected in the women's artistic gymnastics level 8 state team after years of practising her craft.
It's been a long time coming. She's worked hard, and came through all the levels from 1 to 8, and it's all progressive.
Yes, I'm very excited. I've worked quite a few years for it, but yeah.
Missy will perform vault, bars, beams and floor at nationals, spending the next few weeks perfecting her routines.
So she's had a choreographed routine set in concrete for a little while now, and it'll just be fine-tuning that, leading up to some state team trainings and a performance trial before we actually go away.
The club saying they are delighted Missy's hard work is paying off and that she has become someone other young gymnasts can look up to within the tight-knit club.
We're very proud of Missy, yes. She's one of our role models in our club, and yeah, it's great.
The Australian Gymnastic Championships will run from May 11 to the 25th on the Gold Coast. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The newly constructed southbound lanes east of Port Wakefield will remain open leading up to the Anzac Day long weekend. The additional lanes were initially opened to reduce Easter and school holiday traffic delays this past weekend, with the new roads providing safer access to the town's stores and service stations for weary travellers. Signage will be in place to alert motorists to the changed traffic conditions. The Broken Hill Heritage Festival was held over the weekend, with locals and visitors enjoying the Silver City's history. The nighttime cemetery tour and the return of the picnic train proved to be big hits from the jam-packed couple of days.
From reenactments to cemetery tours and vintage cars to train rides, Broken Hill's history came to life over the Easter weekend.
The people that were at them were just amazed and really enjoying themselves. A lot of them were visitors, so it was great to see so many people in town visiting for the weekend or here early for the Money Bash.
One of the big highlights and a new inclusion for the Heritage Festival was the nighttime cemetery tour. And while it doesn't sound like fun being around graves at night, it actually proved to be a big hit.
The cemetery tour, the nighttime cemetery tour, was fantastic. We're so lucky to have somebody like Christine Adams, who is so passionate about the history of Broken Hill, taking us on that tour.
The reenactment of a union meeting from early mining days was also well received. The actors were happy to be able to bring a moment in history to life.
Had some reasonable sort of crowds tonight. We just got to get them motivated to get into the union swing of things, I guess. But no, it's been good.
Overall, the festival received excellent feedback from attendees.
We're definitely passionate about spreading our heritage throughout other communities and to visitors alike, and we had such great feedback from everybody at all the events. It was amazing.
Now to do it all again next year. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. From local rugby league to 8-ball, we'll have all the sport results from the Easter long weekend, and we'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back. While some sport leagues took a break over the Easter long weekend, others took advantage of the extra day. In Broken Hill, the Outback Rugby League held their pre-season gala day. With all the details, here's Mark Zeta.
Just before the Easter long weekend, rugby league enthusiasts in Broken Hill gathered for a pre-season tournament ahead of their season launch next month. The pre-season gala day was held at Lamb Oval on April 10, hosting a variety of teams from Broken Hill, Menindee and Wilcannia. Event organisers noted the strong turnout from the men's and women's teams from the Silver City Scorpions. In addition, sportsmanship was on show at the event, with the Scorpions lending players to the Pantu Warriors in order for a match to be played. The afternoon was also an opportunity to showcase new marquees to each of the clubs. Round 1 of the Outback Rugby League gets underway on Sunday, May 1st, with the Boomerangs and the Yabbies at 12:45 p.m, followed by the Scorpions and the Warriors. The women's competition will start on the same day, with the Scorpions and the Warriors facing off. Moving to round 10 of the Whyalla Club 8-ball pool, and the Shamrocks were able to move up the competition ladder after a 6-3 win against the top side Steel Green. The City Slickers also winning in their singles match against the Croatia CCs. Meanwhile, Croatia Red won against the Rejects 6-3, moving up one spot in the ladder. Lions Gold defeating the Senators, drawing level on their points at the top of the ladder. Whyalla City moving up a place as well after their close 5-4 win against Sham Thistle. That match going down right to the last doubles game. Finally, the Rifle Club defeated the Left Hand Cats 5-4. That's a wrap of the sports results from the past week. If you would like your team to be featured in our next bulletin, let us know through our Facebook page.
And as Mark said there, we would love to see what you and your sporting club has been up to, so definitely consider sending us a message on the 7 Spencer Golf News Facebook page. Visitors have started to descend on Broken Hill ahead of the inaugural Mundi Mundi Bash. Businesses have welcomed the increase in foot traffic along Argent Street, and even a bit of rain wasn't enough to dampen any spirits.
The crowd has started rolling into the Silver City, ready to rock out on the Mundi Mundi plains. Local businesses noticing how busy the main street is.
So we had a really big influx at the end of last week and over Easter weekend. A lot of businesses stayed open all Easter weekend, and it made just a huge difference to the vibe in the main street.
Some people arriving early and enjoying the Easter weekend, while others are just rolling in. After a tough couple of years with COVID and drought, things are starting to pick up again. Even those that used to live in the city have noticed the extra foot traffic.
Oh look, I had a customer come in last week and said that they were back home visiting. They're an ex-local, and they said they haven't seen Arden Street look this busy since they were a young person. So it's amazing. We haven't seen it look this busy for so long.
Overnight rain saw early access to those staying at the Bash site pushed back to at least midday today. And while it may have caused a little problem, the rain is always welcomed in Broken Hill.
Oh look, I think it might have dampened a few spirits of the Bash goers just because they were hoping to get out there a little bit early. The Broken Hill people love rain. We live in a drought area, so rain is very welcomed.
In the lead up to the Bash, the Broken Hill City Council is holding the Mundi Fringe Festival down Argent Street, with a number of performances from local musicians and continuous heritage walk tours for visitors to enjoy.
The Fringe Festival kicks off this week prior to the Bash, so if you're in town, people can come along. There's a lot of activity in the CBD in Argent Street.
The Mundi Mundi Bash kicks off this Thursday and runs until Saturday. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, we just had one, but not long until another long weekend.
Thanks, Maddie. Yes, that's right. How lucky are we to have 2 short weeks in a row? It was a mild day across our region today with showers recorded across parts. At 3 p.m, Whyalla was 19, Woodner was partly cloudy and 22, and Cooper Pedy was sunny and 22 degrees. Looking further out across the region now, Port Augusta and Port Pirie both had a shower or two and were 21. Port Lincoln was also 21. Over the border, Broken Hill had showers and was just 17. Adelaide was 19. Kadina and Cleve were both 20 and Clare was 18 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, low cloud pushing through southern South Australia in a trough, and onshore winds is bringing light showers to coastal areas. High cloud skimming over the west of the state is not rain bearing, mostly clear over the interior with high pressure. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southerly winds 10 to 15 knots tending southwesterly in the morning. Seas will be around a metre and southwesterly swells also around a metre. Possible early shower in Port Lincoln with 21 degrees. Cleve is set to reach a max of 20 degrees and Woodner partly cloudy and 22. Whyalla is set to reach 21. Port Augusta will be partly cloudy and is set to reach 23 degrees. Possible shower in Kadina with 22 there. Port Pirie is also set to reach 22. Cleve will have a possible shower and a top of 18 degrees. And over the border in Broken Hill, it'll be mostly sunny and 19 19. Taking a look further through the week now, starting with Thursday, it'll be partly cloudy across the region. Port Augusta and Kadina both to reach 22. Woodna, Whyalla and Adelaide all to top 21. Cooper Pedy will have the highest temp of the day with only 24 degrees. Broken Hill is set to reach 19. Port Lincoln will be 20 degrees. To Friday now, and not a lot of change across the board. Port Augusta and Port Pirie will reach 23, 22 degrees in Woodna and Kadina. Port Lincoln and Broken Hill will both reach 19 degrees, and Cooper Pedy will get to a top of 25. Let's take our first look to Saturday's forecast now. Temperatures will increase slightly. Port Pirie will be mostly sunny and 25. Port Augusta and Kadina both to reach 24. Port Lincoln will be partly cloudy and 20. Partly cloudy also in Woodna. Adelaide and Broken Hill, it will reach 23. And Cooper Pedy will be mostly sunny with a top of 26 degrees. So a few showers about tomorrow as well, but it looks to be clearing up for the rest of the week and into the weekend. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you, Maddie.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Tuesday. I'm Madeline Kerr. Thanks so much for joining us. I'll have some news updates later on. Until then, have a wonderful evening. Good night.